everyone, welcome to my YouTube. My name is Lacey, and since it's the last day of June, or whenever you see this, I'm filming this on the last day of June, June 30th, I figured that I would kind of go over like what to do to start your next month off on the right foot. You could probably do this at any time. So let's say it's the 15th of the month. You could write down what you've done so far for the month and then start on the 16th. It really does not matter. This is kind of just like a way to help put you on the right foot and kind of have an ideal of what your plans are for the next month. This is not in a calendar, by the way. I've done this actually quite often in my life where I would write down so July has 31 days, so I write down all 31 days. I write down what the day of the week is for those 31 days, and then I write down what I'm going to do, what I already know I'm going to be doing for those days. Like right now, I know I'm doing a martial arts on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so I went ahead and filled that in, and then I went in and wrote down, I have two trips two different friends are coming to my area to visit me this month, so I wrote that in. I wrote down when I know school is about to start, because I am in school for marine biology, so I wrote that in. I wrote down every day I'm going to stream, and then that's actually what I highlighted here, because I'm in this I know what my goals are, I know all that stuff, but I do take each day as it comes, because you never know how you're going to feel. And especially with being a live streamer, I actually think I learned that it is more important to focus on your health and happiness and self-care and self-love versus forcing yourself to stream when you're just not feeling your 100%. It's actually not good for you in that regard. It's not going to benefit you, and to kind of just take it as it goes each day. So you kind of just write it out. And one thing I will say that I have for July 5th that I just want to, mention, that this Saturday, this coming up week, is 2 years alcohol free for me. So from the first video that you saw, that was me talking about around the time that I quit drinking. So yeah, 2 years this coming up Saturday. I'm so excited. And yesterday was 5 years weed free. So yeah, sorry, I just want to toot my own horn for a second. But I noticed for when I did this, I did Tuesday, so Tuesday is the first day of the month, Tuesday to Tuesday actually, or no, the first day of the month is a Tuesday and the last is a Thursday, but I noticed that when I go to each week, I kind of have the same ideal for each week for those days, except the ones that I have friends visiting. So for the ones that say streams, I did highlight them in blue because I decided that for those ones, let's say I don't feel like streaming, I gave myself some other options of what to do instead of streaming, which would be work on YouTube videos for my new page, work on merch for my new merch store, maybe stream if I want to, work on content for other places, schedule content, or do behind the scenes work or offline work. But I put those for the days that I highlighted in blue. It's kind of just giving me another option. If I just don't feel good to do it, I can do those things even just for a little bit before maybe I do some things for myself. But most of this is just to kind of put my mind in the right direction. I'm not going to say I'm going to follow this calendar to a T, but I might catch myself by the end of this month looking at this and doing it 100% like I thought I would, or I wrote out. I actually learned a long time ago that even before I was into manifesting and law of attraction or visualization, all of that stuff, when I would write down what my goals were for the month, I usually always reached them. So if you didn't know, my goal for this year, and I will say I have lots of goals actually, but the one that I will say is that each month I want to be in how do I say this? Each month this year, I want to beat the month before, and whatever that may mean. So that could be that I do I reach my goals financially more, or I could be right the same as, I could be like basically the same as the month before for those, but I might have added new things in, or I might have done more like exercising or more like self-care stuff. It's kind of just showing that I'm putting myself more in the right direction. And I do catch myself so I started at this beginning of this year. And when I started it, it was like a slow grow, like, because you get nervous, it's like normal. You're like self-doubt and like anxiety of like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? But even like this month, I was pretty like close to all of my goals on all of the places, and then except like the place I live stream at the most. And I did like, I was nervous and had a little bit of anxiety by the end, but I didn't give up hope, and I ended up overreaching that goal by like really believing in myself. Like, I will say, like, I'm definitely grateful for all the people that support me, but I definitely was running on hope and Delulu a little bit, but it worked in my favor in the long run, and I didn't give up hope on that. And I also was able, because of how I done it, and that it's been like a slow build, I was also able to add the new YouTube. How many videos did I post? Like 6, 7, 8. I don't even remember, but I posted new YouTube. I created the entire merch store that is released later on tonight. So, knocking things over. So I was able to add things in by slowly doing this. I'm not trying to brag by any means, even though, whatever. But I do think it's important to mention that this was something I slowly had to do. And even now, it's all running on like my mindset. Like, I genuinely have had to change my mindset over time, especially with what my job is. It's very hard to not want to give into instant gratification, because it's very easy to like have the instant gratification by like logging on stream even when you're not feeling good, and you might make that amount like right off the bat, but you're actually like hurting your mental health in the long run. So I do think this trick can be very important for, like, let's say you do have a full-time job or something. It could actually help you like see what your job is and like write it out, so that you see the free time that you do have like when you're not working, so that you're able to maybe add new things in the future. And it also is able to show you like how much you're actually doing, because when you're not writing a calendar down, or you're not like kind of scheduling things out, like, I think it's very easy to think you're not doing enough. But when you write it all out, it's like, whoa, like there's so much going on, like it's easier to kind of like, I'm not going to say trick yourself, because I do think that we do more than our brains allow us to admit to ourselves, because, the brain wants to be, not the brain, but that little voice in your head wants to beat you up sometimes and step on your own feet. So I think that writing out what you're doing really can help you like have like this like clearer image or a clearer goal. Another thing that I even used to do back when I was the hottest of hottest messes, years and years and years ago, before, what I would do is I would write out what my goals were for the month, and at each month I would write out everything that I made for the month. I actually never had a budget in my life until recently, but I would kind of say that was in the same like realm of having a budget, as in I kind of knew what I was making each month on every place, and I would like kind of have an idea of what I wanted to make the month after. And when I did that and I let it go, back then I would always reach my goals. So recently, like, I have been especially since I kind of have this like ideal of beating the month before, I do write down what my goals are, just in general each month when the month starts, to kind of just have like an ideal or like some kind of direction to go in. So I think like whatever your job is, or whatever your like little side ventures are, maybe you have a little bit of business ventures that you want to try, like, I do think it is good to write out some form of goal for them, or some kind of ideal of what you would like to see from them, and kind of just let it go. You do not have to bully yourself or look at this ever again, but it does put your mind in this like right direction, where your mind kind of like our mind does more for us than we give it credit for. And I think that when we kind of give ourselves like a focus, even if we're not looking at it all the time, we're able to see we're thinking about it more than we realize. Like it's kind of like, if have you ever like written a grocery list and you forget the grocery list at home, and then you go to the store and you actually end up getting a bunch of the stuff that was on the list and maybe even a little bit more. Like I've done that before. I think that's actually like, I learned about that in middle school. Like a teacher told me about it, that like it's actually very common that you're able to do that because your mind like picks up on it. So writing it out, not beating yourself up for what you do or what you don't do, is very important. I think it's just important for your mindset, important for your perspective and kind of how you see things. And as long as you're not like beating yourself up for each day, which does take practice. I am not perfect by any means. I still beat myself up. Even at the end of the month, I was kind of like the end of June, like about a week ago, I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Like my mind was like, you're starting all these new ventures, like you're not focused, but like I chose to believe anyways that everything would work out and that I was meant to be on this path. And by the end of it, it did work out. And I'm only mentioning this for real because I do think that like our brains want to tell us that like we're not doing enough or we're not good enough or we're not whatever. But like as long as you like have a goal, you have this like dream that you want, like please, I'm saying this to myself too, like please don't give up hope, because like you never know when it could happen. And by like at least writing it out, at least knowing what you kind of want to do, it could just like help you like even realize some things that you want to do, or maybe it could help you notice things that don't serve you anymore. Like I'm sad to say this, but I was streaming on Twitch for a few years and all of a sudden I realized that it doesn't serve me anymore, and that it wasn't making me as happy as I wanted it to, and I ended up not doing it anymore. I did it for about a year and a half, most Mondays, and all of a sudden I just decided I didn't want to do it, and that is okay. You are allowed to find things that do not serve you a purpose anymore, and kind of just like, I think having like writing out your goals, your plans, your stuff, you're able to look at like what you want to keep doing, what you don't want to keep doing, what serves your greater purpose. But if you don't really know what your goal is each month or this year or just in general what you want to be doing, it's going to be kind of harder to focus on like a direct thing. So I do think that like maybe if you don't know what your goal is overall, having a month goal or even like the week really could help. It helps me at least. The calendar book that I posted before in one of my videos, that does have like a weekly one. But I do think writing it out with your hand and a pen is like, in kind of like choosing, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1 through 31, Tuesday, Wednesday. So when I was doing this, I'm going to be honest, I filled in some of the days that I know for sure. And then my mind was like, oh my God, there's so many more days. Don't finish it. But you know what I did? I finished it. I went against that voice inside my head, and my mind just kept coming up of excuses of why not to like write it in, or like, oh my God, you didn't leave space for this, or you didn't do this. And I just kept doing it anyways. And then like when I finished, sorry, when I finished doing it, I like really thought about it, and I was like, sorry, my cat is literally staring at me. When I thought about it, I was like, oh, this would be a perfect thing to post for the start of the month. So if you ever struggle with like calendar, schedules, to-do list, I do suggest doing it with like a pen and paper, writing it out, letting go of it. And I know it's very hard. You can even rip it up afterwards and just like burn it. I think that that's supposed to be like a thing too that people do with their goals or dreams. But I think writing it out and kind of just like putting it out there so that you kind of have like this like direction to go in, you know, that your mind is like, woohoo. My cat is so cute. So yeah, I kind of wanted to come on here and talk about that. It is the new start of the month, in a few hours. And I thought it was a good time to post this, but I do think that this could be helpful at any time. Cause like I said, you could do it for a week, a few weeks, a month, a year. 365 days might be, yeah, you could do that if you want to. But I do think good old pen and paper really does help. If you believe in like spirituality, like manifesting stuff, pen and paper is supposed to be one of the best ways that you can write things down, just because it really engraves it in your subconscious, like way more than like other things do. So if you want to help get your subconscious on track, writing this down with pen and paper is what I would say is the best go-to. That's why they even say like write down your manifestations when you do the 369 method on pen and paper. Write down what you're grateful for on pen and paper. You can say it in your head all day, but writing down your affirmations, writing down what you're grateful for with physical pen and paper can really do the trick. What are you doing, Gareth? This cat, he was climbing up on my chair, but yeah, so I kind of wanted to come on here and just like talk about that, just because like I did this earlier today and it already made me feel a little bit better about July and made me more excited. I do have all of these things that I have that I want to keep doing in July, and you know, I'm actually at that stage, like the stage of that month where my hormones kind of act insane, started a little bit earlier, and I actually, this really helped me have like a purpose, a goal, a drive inside of me that I literally wanted to make a YouTube video when I like, and I actually feel like good about it. I'm not like forcing myself by any means. Like this, I feel called to do this right now. So I kind of just wanted to come on here and share it with you. It is something I have done off and on, for like years and years and years now, probably as I can remember, like the past, like almost the entire time I've been a streamer, which is like 9 years. I probably have plenty of notebooks where I have done this so many times, and it really does help me, even back when I was, you know, not in the best headspace, or I was drinking, or like doing all of that. Like that actually is probably what put me still in the right direction where I can even be talking to you guys today. Like this helped me and saved me in way like more ways than I can admit. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the video at that. I hope you guys have a wonderful start to your July, and I hope you guys had a wonderful June. Thank you so much for starting this YouTube journey with me. I can't believe that I started it, I think like right at the end of May, but technically in June. So it's been about a month. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Oh my God, wait, look at my cat. I'm gonna get near more fast. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful month. I'm gonna show you guys my cute little cat real fast. This little orange guy, he has been my cuddle buddy this month when I was like, you know, choosing to believe in myself and just having faith in the process and trusting my intuition and trusting the vision, and like realizing I don't want to step on my own toes anymore. And I just want you guys to have a great day. Thank you so much for being you. You are the bee's knees. I hope you have a wonderful day.